Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. Today we are going to be leaking. Hi everyone, it's Mike with Living Wisconsin, and thanks for joining us. Today we are going to be taking a look at our dust collection system to complement our workbench and miter saw station that we built in part 1 of the Ultimate Workshop series. We are going to be also covering a few additions to the shop, smaller ones, tips, tricks, things to add later in the video. So with that, let's get to it. At this point right here, we're going to be putting a suction wand, clean up over here. We're also putting another port here that's going to run to the back of the miter saw station. And then we'll put a port down here for another cleanup wand. In addition, we're using this dust deputy. I've done research on this, and for a small shop, it's going to be more than adequate. Also a 5-gallon pail. We'll see how those things go together in a bit. Powering this whole system, I am using a shop vac. It's a Craftsman 6.5 horsepower. And I'm going to position this and that 5-gallon pail and dust deputy outside of my shop in hopes that it will quiet it down. One of the first things that we're going to do is make sure that we have all our parts ready, assembled, in position. So that will include hooking up this dust deputy per the directions into this top of this 5-gallon pail. That will all make sense later if you're not familiar with this. So let's do that. One thing you need to get used to when putting together a dust collection system: multiple trips to the store. Starting with this dust deputy. If you notice, the bucket is now white. Backing up in the video, it will be blue. And that is because when you go to install this dust deputy onto this lid, there's a hole you have to cut. And I cut it too big, so measure twice, cut once. I think that's what they say. So looking at this dust deputy, when you get this, I wasn't sure, they didn't give me very good dimensions on the website. I bought this on Amazon. So these ports here, the outside diameter of this will take a 2-inch PVC pipe. So the outside diameter gets a little bit bigger, and again, it'll take a 2-inch pipe on both of these, so which is incidentally fits your shop vac hose, so that works out great. Now what we have is some bolts. They give you a gasket, black gasket. Basically, you're just bolting that right to the lid. The idea is that goes on, fastens, and then your shop vac, or your shop vac will actually go through the top here, and then the main line for your system will connect here. Supplies that you're going to need are going to include, for this application anyhow, we're looking at some of these shutoffs. These are ball valves, 2-inch, and you can use blast gates as well. I'm going with the ball valve. You're going to need some Y pipe. Stay away from 90-degree bends. That's going to restrict your airflow. I'm also using some pipe straps for the 2-inch PVC tubing, which is going to be the main suction line. You're going to be bolting that right to the wall. And I think that's about it. Let's drill a hole in the wall. Now that the pipe is through the wall, make sure it's at the right distance, and then you want to pick where you want your first Y connector. Take your marker, mark it, and then we'll cut it with the Sawzall. Okay, first piece is cut. We'll put our Y connector on, and then we'll put it back through the wall. this point, it's really a matter of just picking where you want your shutoffs for the air and the rest of your piping, and continue down the bench or around your shop. I stopped right here, right before the miter saw, and basically did a little mock-up. Put some spacers in there, and we're going to just try it out. Make sure that we have adequate suction at that point. Throw the shop back on. So what we have here is our area that we're putting our pegboard right above our workbench. Have our dust collection system here, and I have to plan for a standoff from that, and I want to make sure that I have my pegboard installed before I go fastening the system to the wall. So why not shoot a video now? These furring strips here are going to run down the studs and frame out the edges of the pegboard, so you have something to fasten that to. We'll start by cutting these to size, fasten them to the wall, and then we'll move on to fastening that pegboard. I'll be using 1/2 inch by 1 1/4 furring pine strips. I'm pre-drilling these with a countersink, otherwise you're going to split that pine. Now that you have your furring strips pre-drilled and countersunk, we're going to fasten these to the wall. Now that we have our standoff created with the furring strips, we're going to fasten our pegboard up onto those using some number 8 flat washers and some screws to match the pegboard. And there's your pegboard installed. So the only thing left to do really is they make a variety of hooks and attachments that you can put onto your pegboard system to hang your tools and get organized. I have a 1/4 inch system, and really all you do is plug it in. There we go. Take your tool, organize how you want. Back to the dust collection system. What I've done here is I went ahead and finished off the rest of my piping. This is where it's going to terminate. I put a cap on here, and then I have to start thinking about my attachments, what I want to connect to this system. Again, here I'm going to be putting a suction wand as well as down at that end. Here, it's going to be as simple as connecting some flexi hose to the miter saw. When it comes to fittings for your dust collection system, you might be racking your head against the wall a bit, trying to figure out why doesn't a shop vac hose fit into your PVC? Well, water, air, I'm sure they didn't think of that. Or maybe there's another unknown reason. Either way, it's not fitting for me, and I found a nice solution. You can stretch PVC, if you didn't know that, by heating it up with a heat gun. It takes 2 to 3 minutes, heat it up, becomes like a rubber band pretty much. You want to flare that out then, and then you want to take your fitting for your shop vac, and I have one done here already. You can see it gets a little bit bigger. Fits in real nice. And that'll go right into the end of the shop. A nice feature that this coupler has here is this locking mechanism. When I slide this in here, I can just take my hose, push it in there. It clicks, holds, very nice. Select a few locations on your studs to take your pipe strapping to. And for my case, I'm going to need to put a little bit of standoff here. I'm going to be finding a stud, got some pre-drilled holes. Put your strap on, screw it in, and fasten your system securely. Now it's time to give this thing a test run. We'll flip the system on. I can hear the suction already. Go ahead and connect our shop vac. Alright. Then we will suck up the sawdust. Oh yeah, plenty of suction. Last we will go ahead and connect our flexi hose to our miter saw. Securing everything, of course, with these handy clamps that actually came with the hose. A critical point to the system is that you can only use one of these ports at a time. So we're going to take some chop saw cuts here. We're going to need to open this port up. This one was used before. I already closed it. This one's closed. We'll open this one up. There we go. And we'll take a few cuts. Well, there you have it. Minimal sawdust left behind. Sucked up plenty of sawdust. I'm happy with the project and we are done. So I want to thank you today for watching. I hope you've taken something away from this. You can use it in your own shop. And please, if you've liked this video, smash that like button below. You can hit that little notification bell. I'll let you know next time I come out with a video. And please subscribe. 1,000 subscribers, that's our goal. Till next time. Well, there we have it. Minimal sawdust left behind. I'm very happy with the project. Well, there you have it. I am very happy with the results of this. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. We are going to be taking a strong look at something. Shit. Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining. Nice to see... Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. Today we are going to be leaking